Welcome everybody to the August 13th, 2025 committee meetings. We are getting started. I'm going to call to order the Public Safety Committee meeting, which I will chair because Commissioners Brockington and Lewis are absent this evening. So we'll start right at the top with item number 1, receipt of the reports. And we'll start with Chief Slavin, please.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Attached, you'll find the June 2025 activity report for the police department. As you'll see in the report, our numbers are trending parallel to what we saw in 2024 as far as the number of calls for service. We're up slightly in that end. One of the areas that I looked at when we were looking at the numbers were attempted vehicle thefts and vehicle thefts, theft from autos. It's that time of year, unfortunately, where we see a spike in our region, not only in Cheltenham Township but in the surrounding areas as well. And we are seeing that reflected in the June report with attempted vehicle thefts and vehicle thefts in the Elkins Park section and along our west side as well. Actually peppered out throughout the township. So that's something we're responding to. We're keeping an eye on that and sharing information, as I said earlier, with our other local law enforcement partners, trying to find the people responsible for those incidents as well. So they're the ones that jump out at me in the report for this month. If anyone has any questions for the June 2025 report, I'd be glad to answer them.
Yeah, Chief, just a couple of points that I was hoping you would touch on. One is, I know there's been some chatter about solicitors in the township, and I was hoping you could, I know there was an announcement from the police department about that, so I was hoping you can touch base on that, as well as any information that you can provide or solicit from the public regarding the armed robbery over in the H-Mart area.
Yes, sir. I'll start with the solicitor notice we posted out there. We currently do not have any current authorized solicitors in the township. Township has to register, a solicitor has to register with the township to go door to door. And we currently do not have anyone out there right now. So if you get someone at your door who's soliciting, please notify us. We'll go out. We'll make sure that the solicitors are aware of the township ordinance, and if it's a repeat offender, we'll cite them as well. So, this sometimes it's a new solicitor, sometimes it's people who forget to register for whatever reason. The public could let us know that. We'll address that with those individuals. So if anyone comes in the solicitor right now, we don't have anybody registered. So give us a call and we'll follow up on that immediately. As far as the armed robbery that made the news, I notified the Board of Commissioners following this, so everyone was aware of this incident. It was about 10:30 in the morning at the H-Mart 7300 block of Old York Road. We responded to an armed robbery in progress with an armored car there. I'm very grateful, as I said to the board, that unfortunately there was a theft involved, but no one was injured in this incident, thankfully. There's people coming and going in and out of the market during this. So we're working closely with our law enforcement partners at the federal and local level as well, along with the city of Philadelphia on this. We're working all angles of this. There has been a string of armored car robberies in the greater Philadelphia region that we believe is connected to this. So we're working with everybody we can to try to identify the persons responsible for this and lock them up.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Cherico.
Yeah, I was just going to mention about the follow-up on the solicitors. We had someone last week, I think with Terminex, it seems to be. He was on a hoverboard and he was probably started around 9 a.m. and knocked on our door after 9 p.m. When asked if he could leave information, hey, we're not making a decision tonight, giving us the pressure, trying to pressure us into doing some sort of deal with them and pay for their services. I asked, because I was thinking of this very thing, that he probably wasn't licensed to do so, and they wouldn't leave any information. So I thought that was interesting that he's out there all day, but not willing to leave us any sort of information to call him back and say, hey, you know what, we thought about it, we're interested, right? And so it left me a little suspicious. You'd think that they would at least give you some sort of materials or marketing paperwork to to look it over, but this guy did not. So I don't know what that means, but it was just very curious to me. Anyway.
Commissioner, that's an excellent example when someone should call us with that. If you're not sure on that, something doesn't seem right. Obviously, that didn't seem right to you. Give us a call on that. We'll immediately respond out to that area. Give us a description of the person involved. We can stop them. Could be that they're a company that don't know about our regulation. We can certainly let them know of that. We'll check our database to see if we've had contact with that company, to determine if a citation is in order in that case. So that's a great example on when to give us a call on that. And we'll follow up immediately on those.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Commissioner Cherico. Any other questions for Chief Slavin? All right, Chief, thank you for your report. I'll move for acceptance of the June 2025 Police Chief's report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Fire Marshal Lynch or representative?
He is unable to attend today.
Okay.
He's incapacitated.
Oh, I hope
Yes.
he feels better.
That's next
so-
week he'll be back.
Okay, so it looks like Commissioner Rappaport has a question. We could pose it and hopefully get a response, back from Chief Lynch when he is not incapacitated.
Right, or perhaps somebody else on the staff or in the fire departments could address it, because I think it is kind of important. First of all, best wishes to Chief Lynch. I hope he feels better very soon. So we're having a lot of electrical fires, it appears from the reports. And I don't think they're all attributed to the storms that we've been having. So the question is twofold. Is PICO equipment really what it should be? And are they monitoring it properly? And secondly, is there anything more they can do in terms of prevention? So I know they're working throughout the township, but we've had some serious electrical fires in the past. And we don't need, based on the report, they're commanding a bit of attention by our volunteers. So I think we really need to button that down. So thank you for relaying that to whether it's Public Works, whoever else can manage that communication.
I was just looking to see who we have in attendance. I think anyone who could answer that question is either on vacation or out sick. But we will get a response for you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
It's a great point. I mean, the number is striking. I don't know how it's trending from year to year, but certainly a good point and worth following up on. And any other comments or questions on the Fire Marshal's report? All right, seeing none, I'll move for acceptance. All those in favor of accepting the June 2025 Fire Marshal's report, say aye.
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 All right. Emergency Medical Services Chief for June 2025, Ms. Bartow.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone.
Hi.
So does anybody have any questions about my report?
Well, just if you could highlight the information in the memo that you sent us, that would be
Yes.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there is a synthetic quote unquote supplement that is currently being sold throughout the nation over the counter at gas stations, smoke shops, convenience stores. It is called Kratom. It is actually a synthetic derivative of the Kratom plant. It is 13 times more potent than morphine. It has a very high addiction potential. It has a very high overdose potential. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that if it's a supplement, then it's natural. This is a synthetic. And because it's a quote unquote supplement, it doesn't go through any FDA regulations. So you do not know what you're getting. You do not know what the strength of this is. You do not know what is mixed in with it. And it is very, very dangerous. And people really should be having conversations with their family members to let them know that these types of things are out there. And just because they might seem safe, they're really not, and to please avoid them at all costs. Yes.
Commissioner Norris, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So Jessica, I certainly appreciate that information, and getting it out to the public is of critical importance. But I have two questions. One, do we know if it's being sold at any of the stores in Cheltenham? And the related question is there anything that we can do about it from either a police point of view or from a township ordinance?
I can comment on that, Commissioner, to that end of it. This is, as Jess had mentioned, Chief Bartow had mentioned, this is a supplement not covered under the FDA regulation, which enables those type of facilities like smoke shops, gas stations, et cetera, to sell these products and unregulated. So granted, that amount of that is very small naturally. That's the issue with this, that uncontrolled amount that's in there into the synthetic. So it's a higher dosage of that, which can lead to addiction issues and some other concerns, other health concerns with that. One of the things I think that Jess had brought up, it's a very, very important fact, is to have these conversations. Encourage everyone to have conversations, especially when I have it with my own children. To be mindful of what supplements you take, and really what concerns me most about this is the addictive quality of this substance. Number one. Number two, you don't really know what's in there. We don't really know what's in there. So that part of it's very concerning. As far as the restrictions on sales right now, I'm not aware of any on that would prohibit them from selling it. We are looking into it as a direct result of the email that Jess had sent. I have some contacts out there now. I'm waiting to hear back from on that. These synthetic things, you see them pop up throughout. This is the latest one. This group has a strong lobby out there as well. They try to support their product sales out there. So they're actively involved in marketing these things and pushing these things. So that's where my concern lies, more in the unknown. What can happen with these? You don't know exactly what's in these substances. So probably the best bit of advice is, as Chief Bartow had mentioned, is to have those conversations with your children and your family, so everyone is aware that there's a potential for issues with these substances.
So just one more question. Is there anything being done at the county, excuse me, at the Montgomery County level or at any of our surrounding municipalities?
Well, that's what I'm checking on, waiting to hear back from Montgomery County on that issue. I know CTC is involved in offer their assistance locally here with that as well. I know Wendy's group has emailed me as well about this as well. So there's going to be several people coming at this from several different angles to get some answers on this. So I'm waiting to hear a reply back from the county on that now.
There are several states that have actually banned the sale of these products, but Pennsylvania is not currently one of them.
Louisiana just had a successful attempt to ban them. They're the most recent one I'm aware of in that.
Good for them.
Manager Elliott.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was anything online as far as any legislation being considered by the state. It looked like there had been some legislation considered back in 2023. It may not have gone anywhere, but it might be something to consider, to reach out to our state lawmakers if we're concerned about it, to see if there's legislation that could be considered to move forward with it.
Thank you. Commissioner Cherico.
And I take it that we don't have the authority to prohibit the sale of that in our township. Is that correct? Or
I'm not aware of any restrictions on that currently. Like I said, I'm hoping to gather some more information on this, and I'll share that with you when I get it.
Thank you, everybody. Chief Bartow or Chief Slavin, what is the sort of method of sort of ingesting this stuff? Do you eat it? Do you smoke it? Do you vape it?
Most of it is ingestion. They're sold in gummies.
I see.
They're sold in pill form. And that's part of the thing, they're being marketed. You look at them and they almost look like they're a 5-hour energy. They almost look like the 5-hour energy drinks. It's a little blue container. And they look like normal things, and it's calm, and it's got all the buzzwords on it. and that it's actually an opioid.
Right. Well, so I share the thanks that of the rest of the board for bringing this to our attention. I also, prompted by your communication, had a conversation with my kids. I think that I agree that's really important. I think the township should continue to work with communities that care, which is, I think, well positioned to. They already have connections in the school district and that sort of thing. I guess my other question is, I know that our authority is limited in some of these areas, but sometimes we have the ability, particularly around schools, to restrict things. And I wonder if it's worth looking into, at the very least, being able to restrict these products in or around school zones as part of like drug-free zones and that sort of thing. So Chiefs and Manager Elliott, if you wouldn't mind sort of exploring that angle as well, I think that would be a worthwhile venture. Commissioner Rappaport and then Ms. Walter.
Yeah, and I think this can cut both ways, but has there been any thought to putting together a PSA or even a little video to?
I think that's what Lauren had her
I
hand
was gonna
raised.
say, it sounds like you.
Yeah.
That was
You're stealing
exactly
our
what I,
PIO's thunder.
yes, I had my hand raised for that. So I'm working with Jess on this. We saw that, Jess.
All right.
On information for a PSA. So Chief, I'll run that by the both of you, and if you can loop me into those conversations if you hear back from the county and CTC, we'll work together on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, all great stuff. Thank you, everybody, for your vigilance on that. It's an important issue. All right. Any other questions for Chief Bartow?
I think the only other
Right.
question I think wasn't, are we able to check, correct me, forgive me, cameras on and off as I'm eating. So are we able to check to see in the stores locally whether they're being sold? Is that something?
I know that I had seen the little shot, the little blue like energy drink thing at one of the at the smoke shop out on Cheltenham Avenue. That's the only place that I've seen them in the township. And that was about a month ago. So I will not testify as to whether or not they still have it, but that was about a month ago.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Henry. I'm just chiming in. I recall as part of the convenience store over on Greenwood and Glenside Avenue, when that store first opened, apparently they had some of those items as part of their sales, and only to find out later on that it was not a part of Luke Oil's agreement with them, so they had to strike them out of as part of their sales. So as far as I know, that store is not allowed per contract with Luke Oil to sell those products, but we will be monitoring and following up as well.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, so
Commissioner Cherko, excuse me.
Henry, that's I'm sorry, Mr. Sekawango. I'm so sorry.
Henry's fine.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because I'm wondering whether that same issue could apply with the convenience store on Old York Road, that is selling, quite a few, I guess, supplements and things like that. They have entire, counters full of these. Any idea whether that could potentially violate the terms of their agreement with what is it, Sunoco, or I forget what the company is.
We'll have to look into it. I don't know what kind of terms of agreements they have with Sunoco. We just know about Luke Oil, but we'll look into it and get back, because we have the contacts for the Sunoco people.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm not thrilled with what's happening in that store, to be honest with you. It's really concerning, and this is off topic, but I guess it is public safety. There seems to be certain weapons and quite a few supplements being sold in there. That's quite concerning, and definitely not the what I was hoping for when that gas station was renovated and they were about to open. It's quite depressing to go in there and see what's happening there.
Yeah, Jeff, while you're mentioning that, I share that concern because I'm not sure if it was there originally, but I did notice that the last time I was in there that they have a display of knives. And so I would also be asking Henry if you could check into not just whether Sunoco approves that, but whether that meets our guidelines for what can be sold in a gas station.
Actually, the police department already did respond to that issue. I think it may have been brought up by Commissioner Rappaport, and I believe the police department already did some research and determined that there was no state law that prohibited sale of knives in Pennsylvania. In other states, they do have those prohibitions, but not in Pennsylvania.
Another item for us to add to our legislative representatives in Washington, in Harrisburg.
Well, maybe a budget too. That'd be nice.
Good luck.
Okay. I'm going to move for acceptance of emergency medical services chief for June 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you, Chief Bartow. Emergency management coordinator for July 2025, Mr. Hellendahl.
Nothing really to add except to point out at the suggestion of Commissioner Ehrman to try and reduce some of the costs for some of our large scale events. We contacted both Arcadia and the Glenside Civic Association about the food truck festival. And I will admit, much to my surprise, they both made $1,000 donations to help defray some of the costs and want to work with us in the future to hopefully add a security fee to all their large events in Glenside. We're doing all we can to keep the costs down. It'll technically be in next month's report, but we have worked with Norristown and Conshohocken, who both bought the $100,000 barriers that are used to stop cars. They're going to loan them to us for the food festival, which will reduce the costs by not needing public works vehicles at those locations. The chances of getting those for something like 4th of July is nil, but when we do events that don't conflict with other things. So we are trying to cut the costs. Unfortunately, there have been several more events at large scale events that we can't cut back on the safety, but it was very refreshing to hear that, number one, we're appreciated. They know what we're doing and why, and that they're willing to help. So thank you, Commissioner, for the suggestion. Frankly, it worked out better than I thought it would.
Thank you, Mr. Hellendahl, for that report. And I'm glad it worked out. I mean, that community is what it's about, right? So, and the Downtown Glenside Association, as well as Arcadia, get value and publicity by a lot of these events. And I'm pleased to hear that they're working with the township to make them successful and safe. And certainly the work that Ken, your team, and police and public works and Jess and everybody does to keep those events safe is very much appreciated.
Yeah, and good work. I was just going to add, and good work in getting Norristown and Conshohocken to share that equipment with us. That's just excellent on your part that you reached out to them.
And we are, those things are between $80,000 and $110,000 per trailer.
Yeah.
We are looking at some funding for maybe the Eastern Montgomery County group or for Cheltenham long-term, very expensive. Short-term, when you can use them in place of two guys in a public works vehicle, long-term, it's a good investment. They're easy to set up. You don't have to have a vehicle sitting there. but they're very expensive. It worked out to, the chief may remember, it was something like $1,800 for 12 feet. And so 12 feet doesn't do you any good at an intersection. What Norristown and Conshohocken are loaning us are trailers full of them. So that's what cooperation and emergency management's all about.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or questions? All right, I'll move for acceptance of the Emergency Management Coordinator report for July 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. On to item number 2, receipt of the committee meeting minutes. There was no fire board or traffic calming committee, so we'll skip right over that and move on to old business. I have one item for old business, and then I'll open it up to other board members. I'm very pleased to announce that the township, in cooperation with the school district, has made significant progress in installing speed humps in and around our elementary schools, which is something that was advocated by this board, particularly Commissioner Brockington, who couldn't be here tonight, but was championed, was supported by the school district. It's a great example of cooperation between the township and the school district. And Manager Elliott, or perhaps someone else on staff, would you just update us as to which ones are in, which ones are going in, and which ones we may be deferring for other projects and that sort of thing, if you wouldn't mind. Manager Elliott, you're muted at the moment.
All right, let me just find my notes on that. So yes, they are installed on Barker Road near Wincode Elementary School. They are installed at Glenside Elementary School. They will be installed at Myers Elementary School following the intersection improvement project there at Montgomery and it's Mill. So very shortly. The ones at Cheltenham Elementary School are on hold because we are going to be having the developer install them, and they're doing a traffic study as part of the Melrose Country Club development. So they will be delayed until after that traffic study has been done and the developer can install those. Am I missing any, Chief?
No, not that's right. That's exactly what I was going to cover there. Just to piggyback off of that, if I may, Manager Elliott, and the school district has met with us as well regarding a couple other issues, one being the bus patrol. If you remember, I told you I was looking to meet with them. I met with Dr. Scriven and his staff regarding the bus patrol locations, those high locations where we see frequent violations on major arteries, perhaps moving them off to side streets to improve safety there. They're very receptive to that. We had a very productive meeting on that, so I hope to have some positive results come out of that shortly as well. We also have been working with the Cheltenham Elementary School staff and the district on that location as well. So there was a meeting Monday night regarding that as well. So there are several things in the works right now to improve safety around our schools and add those humps into there. So I'm not aware of any other locations. I think you covered them all.
And Chief, I believe the district has a new transportation director I saw announced. So I think hopefully you're planning to meet with that individual to continue that cooperative effort.
Yes, they did. I met that person as well. Yes, at the meeting. So yeah, good productive meeting with them.
Yeah.
Great. Commissioner Norris.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just to follow up, Allison, is there any time frame as far as Cheltenham Elementary for having those speed bumps installed? I know you said it's deferred.
Yeah, I don't have one at this point. It's going to be dependent on the construction schedule, but I will get that information to you.
Okay, and then Chief Slavin, as far as Cheltenham Elementary, how let's see, I don't know how to phrase this exactly. How soon might we expect some changes in the configuration of the drop-off in front of Cheltenham Elementary? Getting a lot of complaints from the residents.
We're working with the school to help them address their issue. It's their issue on their property where it seems to be. We made recommendations to put a no parking in front of the school. That was not very well received by our residents or the school. We had unified support at one point, and then it went south with the meeting. That's where we're at with that. They're open to other alternatives and looking at other options, and that's what we're pursuing at this moment. So Sergeant Murphy was in attendance. There's other things being considered, such as staggered times. There's a couple different areas that they're going to discuss to try to alleviate some of that traffic congestion to drop off and pick up times when we see most of our problems there. So again, educating. I know we talked about this, getting the word out to the parents. The school's on us now to be mindful of that, be safe around the schools and avoid U-turns, the drop-off areas and all the other parking and no parking zones and creating these hazards for kids crossing the street. All those things are being discussed as well. So I'm hoping, some of these improvement efforts, to get underway shortly there, but we are in conversation with them.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make the meeting the other night. And I know it's a very difficult situation at the elementary school. I know a lot of work is being done, so that's appreciated. And it's particularly difficult and challenging because a lot of the problems are being caused by the parents of the school children who, as you said, are making U-turns or double parking. So
I think that education component, getting it out to these parents in a newsletter and continuing to harp upon our safety concerns around the schools is what my push is being. My suggestion to Sergeant Murphy is to make sure that they're addressing that end of it as well. I think that's a very important key component of it as well, to share that information with the parents. They're the ones we're dealing with there that are dropping their kids off. So hopefully that message will get out there. We're going to, like I said, look at other alternatives to try to alleviate some of that congestion around there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Any other old business for tonight's public safety? Yes, Commissioner Rappaport.
Thanks very much. A couple of things. First of all, big thank you to all the staff for that PennDOT meeting at the very end of July. And just a reminder, I'm looking forward to the follow-up that we need afterwards. And then the other item, thank you all for, and Lauren and who all is responsible for getting the announcement out about the changes in the Church Road, Greenwood Avenue, that intersection. Because those major roads are going to be one way, or I guess if I read it correctly, for the next probably 15 to 18 months, I think we really need more education, because that's going to really change people's methods of getting where they need to go. And it's going to mean people cutting through residential areas where they don't typically cut through. I know I have to revise how I'm going to get to Curtis Arboretum, for example, for our legislative meeting for Curtis Hall, among others. So it really does have an impact on hundreds of residents. So we really need, it was a little bit of a big picture kind of thing, and we really are going to need to tell them, here's the one way, which direction, here's the other one, make your plans accordingly. And that's going to need to be visual. It's going to need to be recurrent. So yeah, again, thank you for the heads up, but we're going to need a lot of police help and a lot of signage and a lot of other patients. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Rappaport. Any other old business for tonight's public safety meeting? All right, seeing none, I'll close old business. We'll open new business. There was an agenda item, but as Chief just mentioned, it is now struck from the agenda, back to the drawing board. But I'm sure good outcomes are forthcoming. Any other new business for tonight's public safety meeting? All right, seeing none, we'll close new business. Let's go to citizens forum. Is there any citizens interested in speaking? Raise your hand. I see first Miss Bowers. Go ahead. You're muted. Miss Bowers, you're muted.
Surprise. Lucky you folks, right? No,
right.
just joking. Hope everyone's well, having a good summer. Just real quick, I was glad that you brought up the Sunoco on York Road, because that was something that I was going to bring up myself. I was, especially knowing my Board of Commissioners, was complete. I've only walked in there once. I've gotten gas there. Walked in there about 3-4 weeks ago and could not absolutely believe what was going on in there. I mean, it was like they were selling identical looking marijuana, gummies, just like a regular smoke shop, head shop, whatever you want to call it. So I was just really surprised to see that going on right next to our, medical dispensary. What was more surprising is everyone's going there. I went there Friday night to get gas. I left. It was a complete zoo. And I knew what exactly they were going there for. They weren't going in. I went in for a lottery ticket. That's what got me. And I was just walked around and I was like, I'm not even sure. And maybe Jessica, because I've seen this in other places. Like regarding, it looks exactly like, pot, marijuana. What is that? If it's not legal, I mean, it's not in the dispensary. I'm not quite sure what it is.
So you're probably talking about the CBD supplements. And so
Are they like you smoke it?
again, same with marijuana.
Okay. It's the same. It looks
the
exactly
gummies.
Yeah.
They have vapes. They have
Right.
drinks.
Yeah, it was just a lot. I mean, that place was really, it was kind of much. You know what I mean? It's, I'm big on letting people do their business and all that, but it was a little much when I walked in there. And then to go there Friday night to get gas and I left. There was people parked everywhere. Nobody was in their cars. They were at the gas pumps. Nobody was in there, like not pumping gas or paying. It was just a zoo. And I was like, oh, I'm out. I don't even want to go in there because I'm not sure what's happening. So I don't know. I'm concerned as well. So what will somebody go in there and kind of look what they're doing, or how does that work?
So, Ms. Bowers, it's certainly on our radar. We obviously have to, as you heard from the earlier discussion, we have had law enforcement
Sure.
looking into it, and our zoning and code enforcement looking into it. And certainly, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I'm fine. I was just saying, yeah, I agree with you. I was just, want to really reiterate that, if you go there on a Friday night, take a look what's, you could tell. I mean, these are not our township citizens going in there to go shopping or get gas. They're definitely coming from elsewhere for whatever reason. So that I just wanted to kind of get an idea what the next step was, but that's fine. I'll just keep an eye because because it wasn't like that when it opened. It was there wasn't much in it. So
as will we. So thank you very much for raising that again.
Thank you. Have a good your summer.
You also.
Thank
and any other citizens forum, just raise your hand or shout out. We'll recognize you. All right. I will then close citizens forum. Thank you, Ms. Bowers, for your comments. And I will call for adjournment of the Public Safety Committee meeting at 8:08 p.m. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.